What's going on, everyone? It's time for another Shudder original film review. Today I'm going to talk about the film Revealer. It was released sometime this month, June 2022. It was directed by Luke Boyce, who also did other films like The Puka, the Origins of Wit and Humor, Evan and Odd, and Prelude. But this is his first big film, I think, to be released. So Revealer is basically an apocalyptic style horror film, I guess you could call it, where this stripper girl and this other girl that she knows that they don't get along at all, and basically they're arch rivals. There's the stripper girl, and then there's a really religious chick who's and have way different moral values than her, and different outlook on life, and they bicker constantly. But then some weird apocalyptic thing happens in the world, and where they end up being trapped in the same building, and I guess you could call it like a peep show room or some sort of like stripper room, basically. And the first half is basically these two characters trying to get along and trying to uh, first half is these characters trying to get along and trying to figure out how to get out of their situation. But once they do, they realize there's a lot more to it than what they thought. Um, so I thought this was gonna be like a post-apocalyptic style horror film. No, it's somewhat like a creature feature. It's like a demon creature lurking outside causing havoc, and it's quite the jarring film, because it goes from like this interesting like character study to this weird tentacle like creature thing that they have to face off and stuff. But overall the film is an alright film. It's very colorful, and the way they use color to help accentuate like themes that are going on in the scenes, and that was pretty interesting. It has sort of like how Fear Street on Netflix did use color and stuff. It's sort of the similar way to that. And same with like Stranger Things and stuff. It has sort of the same sort of feel, but it's more dramatic in that. And the horror elements in this film are neat and well done. There's some cool practical stuff and the characters are pretty well done. But I thought it was just a little slow. Like, I didn't really think there's enough substance for it, because most of it was just them bickering and walking around. But once you see like the main creature and like what's actually going on, it picks up a bit, but it's kind of gets repetitive and stale over time. But for the most part, it was all right. The acting was really good. The cinematography is pretty good. The soundtrack's really good, and but I just thought it was a little bit but something different, but which didn't really work for me, anyways. And it's still was an interesting little film. Definitely different, way different than I was expecting it to be. um, and it takes place in the '80s, which is amusing, and they definitely try to throw you off a couple times. It sort of worked, sort of didn't, but it was definitely a more interesting, intricate story to follow, and some aspects it worked, some aspects it didn't. So, for me, anyways. So, with that, I'm gonna give Revealer a 2.5 out of 5. It was amusing in that, but I didn't think it was all that great in the end. I thought it was an alright attempt to try to do something different, and some people may see it in a different light, but for me, I just thought it was okay. It wasn't that didn't resonate well with me for it, but it was still amusing at times and had some interesting scenes in it, at least. But if this sounds like something you're interested in, there's a trailer for it linked down below. Like always, also linked down below is my Instagram, so I always post clips of films I'm going to review in the future on my story. I usually have the film title and hashtag, and subgenre film and a hashtag, so you're aware of it. Also, linked down below is my Letterbox with therapy reviews. That's where I post my first star rating right after watching the film. So make sure you follow me on one of those two platforms and look at this channel. Like this video, share it so more people aware of it. Comment your opinions on the film down below if you have any. Also, if you have any other films or film franchise in any genre that you want to hear my opinions on in the future, comment those down below too. I'll try my best to get them as soon as I can, and if I can find it. And if you're on Shudder, make sure you look for my name, Derek Peterson, no spaces. That's me. I always post a comment and a scroll rating right after watching the film, so you can also find me on there as well. And yeah, but make sure you subscribe because hopefully we'll find something weird, obscure, and odd that you probably never thought of checking out, somewhat like this. Also, so you hear my opinions on popular films coming out at the time, classic films, and other reviews and other things as well. And don't forget to ring that bell because I think I'm going to review the 2 Independence Day films next. I kind of feel those. And July's coming up, so might as well get those done and up for July. So, yeah, but we'll see how that goes. That's the plan so far, but it might change. But make sure you tune in for that, ring that bell, and yeah, watch out for all those crazy girls stuck in places together with monsters going after them. And I guess I'll see you all in the next review. So until then, cheers.